Hi guys, I'm doing a pinned comment, so give me 1 second here. Sometimes Instagram is hard to use for me. Okay, keep switching. This is wonderful. Okay.
Welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour. I'm your host, Illicit Ghost. Found your music on the internet, and I couldn't get enough of it. Now I wanna have a little chat. Wanna know where your head is at. I just wanna talk to you, find out more about what you do. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do. I'm a Illicit Ghost, I'll be your host cause it's my radio. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do.
Welcome everybody to Anti-Anxiety Hour. Here we are yet again, 2 times in 1 week. I can't even believe it. If you missed Saturday's episode, it's up on my Instagram profile. If you go to IGTV, you can watch it. I just want to kind of reiterate what I was saying on Saturday about taking care of yourself. If you are out there protesting, please remember to do self-care when you get home. Have a support system around you. Have friends that you can call if you need to talk. If you need any self-care tips, please reach out and I will give you mine. But yes, we're still going strong and we're still fighting because we have to. And yeah, so anyway, here we are, next episode. If you haven't checked out my anti-anxiety playlist on Spotify, check it out. I update it every week. Today's guest is a very special guest that is featured on my playlist. Her name is Lily Jo. She is an artist from Manchester in the UK. And in addition to being an artist, she does a lot of very important work. She is a mental health counselor, and she is also the founder of the Lily Jo Project, which she will explain to you guys. And she also started a podcast called Eavesdrop, which spotlights charities and change makers that are making a difference in their communities. And she also is a host on TBN UK for a show called Acoustic Sessions. You can check that out. So without further ado, we're going to bring in Lily Jo, and she is going to talk to us about her new song, just out in May, called Be the Change. Hello. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How's it going?
I'm really good, thank you. Just going to find a good angle.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
Nice to see you all. Thanks for having me on the show. This is really exciting.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. I heard your song Be the Change, and I was very intrigued, not only because it's a beautiful song, but also the message is extremely important, I believe. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about it, like maybe if there was like a particular event or feeling that inspired you to write it.
Yeah, sure. So I am a singer and I go around schools across the UK and I talk to young people about mental health and how to look after your mental health a little bit like you. And this song was inspired to promote being kind, basically, like being the change in the world that you want to see. That's where the idea for the song came from, that amazing quote, either change the world you want to see. So the song is all about that, and gosh, we really need that right now in this world. We really need to all take responsibility, and if we were all just a little bit kinder to ourselves and to each other, then I think that the world would be a very different place, right?
Definitely. Yes. So I love that message because I do believe that, change does start from within. And if we're able to change ourselves, then we can maybe inspire other people, or with our kindness, change what's going on. But yeah, it does start with us. And I think it's a beautiful song. I'm really happy that I heard it because it's the message and the music. I feel like it fits so well together. Like, it's very energetic, and that's what we need right now. We need like an uplifting song to tell us, like, hey, like, we have to do something to change. Um, so yeah, I'm really glad that I heard it. I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you're handling quarantine and if your creativity is affected at all by it.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting 3 months here in the UK. We're on like just over 100 days here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but we're just over
Yeah,
100 days.
pretty similar.
Yeah, so as an artist, I was really excited for this year. I had some great bookings in the diary. I had my first arena shows booked in,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
which was just incredible. Now they might still go ahead because we're kind of November and March next year, so there's still some hope. But I was just so excited about this year and the way things were going and the bookings that we were getting, and just to see the diary empty was really difficult. And I'm sure that's the same for you. But yeah, it's been tough. It's been a real up and down. Like, some days I just want to stay in my pajamas all day. Some days I want to write. Do some really interesting writing with my husband. He's also a musician, so just like writing stuff that's different to what I normally write as well, and just like trying out some new things has been fun. But I haven't always had the energy for that, so just been really like trying to self-care as best as possible, and really going with the energy that I have each day, and not pushing myself too far, and just knowing that, well, today I feel I can do that, and tomorrow I might feel differently, and I've just been sort of trying to go a little bit with the day and with the moment. Our government has been pretty great in that, so we've had like a self-employed grant, so that's been really quite helpful to just know that, okay, well, I can still buy food, I can still pay my mortgage, and so therefore, like, there's a little bit of an opportunity to rest as well as work when I felt the energy is there. So yeah, really just self-caring has been a real need. And when I don't self-care, when I haven't self-cared over this quarantine period, I've really noticed my mental health take a dip. So yeah, it's super like important for me and for you, as in the people watching, that we look after ourselves, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I experience the same thing. I'll have it like one day is like, oh, I feel really motivated and energized, and then the next day it will just be like the complete opposite. And like lately for me, it's just been switching off. But yeah, just kind of allowing yourself to just do what you can every day, I think is important, and not feeling like guilty if you can't achieve what you want to achieve each day, because we are living in a very difficult time. And it does take a toll on us mentally, whether we want to admit it or not, it does. So yeah, just at least for me, just practicing a lot of self-care. Do you have a routine that you follow every day? Self-care
No,
routine?
not actually strictly. Don't have like a strict routine, but I really enjoy practicing like hygge. I don't know if you're familiar with that, or hygie. It's difficult to explain. It's a Scandinavian thing. It's spelled Hyggge.
Okay.
So weird,
Okay.
but it's all about like creating the right vibe. So like lighting a candle, playing some of your favorite music, eating nice food, being with the people that you love. It's all about creating like a vibe. So someone's put laughing faces in the comments. It's hilarious. I'm so sorry.
No, this is great. I don't know about this.
But it's, yeah, there's a whole little book that I have, and it's really exciting because it's creating an environment that is relaxing, and I think when I remember to, that's really helpful. So yeah, and then exercise for me is a real key. I started off in quarantine going, yes, I'm going to exercise for my 1 hour a day that I am allowed to, and I'm going to come out of quarantine with like, 6-pack abs sorted, but that's just not happened.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat for sure. It's hard.
So, but exercise obviously is a real amazing. I always do better. I have a better day if I start with exercise. So yeah, sort of creating a nice vibe, creating a nice environment, exercise, eating right, not just eating a load of junk has been really key. I've managed to eat quite well, and I've been proud of that, and actually like been much more resourceful. So when I'm on the road a lot, I do a lot of takeaways, a lot of like service stations, and it's been really nice to plan my meals ahead, have a food shop delivered, and cook.
Yeah.
So I think that's been really helpful as well in just maintaining like that self-care rhythm and routine.
Cool. Yeah, it's important to have. I try to stick to mine every day. Doesn't always happen, but I just have to allow myself like this space to just like say, okay, I did the best that I could today, and tomorrow I'll try to do better. That kind of
I
thing.
love that because what you're doing there is positive self-talk. I think that's the thing that can be really tricky as well. If you're feeling slightly low, or just not quite yourself, it's that the way you talk to yourself is really key, isn't it? It's like, actually, well done for what you achieved today, rather than you've done nothing today. Just really making sure that we're talking to ourselves in a kind way is really, really important. So again, something that needs a lot of practice, doesn't come overnight, but when I do that, I feel better.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask if you could tell me a little bit more about the Lily Joe project.
Oh yeah, I'd love to talk to you about that. So I'll just tell you my story really. I think we've got a bit of time.
Yes.
So I always wanted to sing, always wanted to be a singer, and just didn't quite work out like in my early teens. This is like from being like 16 years old. And so I did some other things. I set up my own business and like worked in an entertainment agency and like did bits and bobs that were like around music, but not necessarily me putting myself out as an artist. And what happened was, I went to college. I did all of this kind of music stuff. Had a break, and then I decided I wanted to retrain. So at the age of 25, I retrained to become a counsellor. So I was working in a doctor's surgery, working with people who were struggling with depression, anxiety, eating disorders, trauma, and more. And I would listen, and I think maybe out there you call it a therapist, but similar, therapist, counsellor, that was my job. And after having my second child, I realised that actually I'd neglected my creativity. And so I started to write some songs again, just on the sofa with my kids. Like life's dead hectic, but I started to write, started to express myself. And because I was in the music world and had those connections, a friend of mine said, "Oh, do you know what? I've just started an independent record label. I love what you're putting out. Like, can I sign you?" So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It felt like it came quite easy, but this is still a sort of like 10, 15 years after we first wanted to do music. So got signed, put out my first EP, and then started to tour. And it was at my first show. It was a festival in England, down near London. And afterwards, there was a huge queue of people that wanted to speak to me, and that's because I mentioned from the stage that I was a counsellor and that I was passionate about mental health, and that I believe that we can be restored back to life regardless of the situations we've been in the past. And so people wanted to speak to me. They were pulling up their sleeves. They were showing me their scars. They were saying, "Thank you so much for what you said from the stage. We need more people like you to talk about it." This was 5 years ago. So it was at that point that I decided, well, maybe I could like create something where people could still access me, but not in person. And that's where the idea for a web resource came from. So the lilyjoproject.com is an online mental health resource, and on there you've got everything that I've learned in my counselling days. So there's top tips, there's advice, there's podcasts, there's blogs, all around the subject of mental health and how to overcome mental health concerns. So taking that forward, we then began going, oh, we could take this into schools, high schools. So we started to take it into high schools, myself and 2 dancers. And then we were like, oh, maybe we could take it into primary schools, which would be, what would you call primary schools? Juniors?
Middle
like
school.
Middle school, that's it. We started taking it into middle school, so it was getting younger. And when we went into our very first middle school, which was actually earlier this year, we had one of the teachers who had booked us saying, what have you got for the kindergarten? We want you to come and do something for them. Like, oh my goodness, we've not even like done the middle school stuff yet. So it was just really, here in the UK, so needed. And that's where, you know, we've just been moving step by step with the opportunities that present themselves and growing step by step. We're doing all of it on a very small budget, but we've probably stood roughly around in front of over 180,000 young people and adults over the last few years.
Wow.
So it's amazing, and every single time that I step on the stage, I mention the lilyjoproject.com. And then we see after every show and after every school day, we see hits to the website. So it's exciting. It's completely unexpected in that it wasn't my plan, but it's worked, that it's become a real necessary tool and resource that people want and they need. And wherever we go, they're like, this is incredible. This is incredible. So we're just moving slowly. We've set up as a charity, so we can receive donations and fundraising opportunities. Like we did a fundraiser just last night actually, which was really successful. And so we're always looking for supporters who can get alongside us and help us do what we do. But the response is just always great. I remember one girl coming up to me after a session in school, and she handed me her self-harm blades and said, I don't want to cut myself anymore. And we were just like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, it's estimated that 1 in 8 young people struggle with their mental health. And so, you know, if we're in front of 1,000 people on a school day, you know, we see that many people, then we're saving some lives, right? So we're just like super passionate. Everybody on my team has had mental health struggles of their own and are working through their own stuff. And I'm just passionate, caught the vision and run with it. So it's so exciting to be able to have a vehicle that is changing and is helping and saving lives.
That's an incredible thing you're doing. I mean, I wish that I had that when I was growing up. I wish someone would have come in and done that and said, hey, you know what you're feeling is okay, and we're here and you can talk to us. Because it's just something that hasn't been offered. And it's like, why? You know, like so many people are struggling and people need help. So yeah, that's amazing. Have you come to the US to do this yet, or?
So I was in the US last year. I didn't end up in any schools, but I played a festival on Huntington Beach.
Oh yeah, okay.
Called Beach Fest, which was amazing. I did like a Sofa Sounds tour. So we started in New York and did New York, then flew over to Seattle, did Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and then Los Angeles, and ended up in Huntington Beach. So that was an amazing 2-week tour. And whilst we were out there, we had so many people say to us, we need you in our schools. We haven't really gone down that route yet, but if there's ever an opportunity, then we would absolutely love to come and talk to some US young people and just, you know, do what we do, but over there.
So what do you do when you go into the schools? Do you sing?
Yeah, so what we do is we share stories of our mental health journeys, we share some statistics, we sing and dance. So it kind of goes like song, talk, story, song, video, talk, video, stop, song, story, go here for more help. Everybody gets a little card on the way out with the web address on, and are directed to our social media and our YouTube and stuff. And so they have that connection with us going forward. So it's really interactive, it's really fun. A lot of the comments that we get afterwards online are just like, thank you so much for coming to my school. I struggle. Often we get the people who are really struggling message us to say, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I thought I was on my own. And that's the thing, like when you're struggling, you don't believe that there's anyone else that is feeling the same way as you. But there are tons of people out there who have felt the same, who feel the same, and who will be more than happy to listen, you know. So we go out there and we say, you're not alone, we're here, and there are people around you that love you, that care about you, and that would be more than happy to hear you talk as well. So in the UK, we have like a safeguarding officer in every school. So we often refer the kids to the safeguarding officer, and often what happens when we come in is that we do open a little bit of a can of worms, and people begin to start to open up. But that's a good thing, right? Like it's a good
Yeah.
thing that we just go in, we agitate, we disrupt, and then these people get the chance and opportunity to find the help and the resources that they need. So going forward, we've got a plan, and so we go and do the big school day. So the way that we're set out in the UK is that we have like 250 children in each school year group. So we'll see the whole school in one day. So we'll see all of what we call year 7, they're like 11 to 12. Then we'll see all of year 8, which are like 12 to 13. Then we'll see all of year 9, which are like 13 to 14. So by the end, we've seen over 1,000 students at the end of that school day,
Wow.
which is incredible.
Yeah.
And then our next thing that we're about to develop is called On Track, and it's our support groups that we're going to create, so that those kids, those 1 in 8, those like individuals that are really struggling, get to go into groups and work on a weekly basis with one of our school mentors. So we're about to grow an army of school mentors up and down the country, so that when we've been in and done the big day, seeing everyone, there's this follow-up process that means that we can then send our worker in who will just work with these kids. So we're so excited about that.
That's great. Yeah, to have a follow-up. So then, maybe they would feel more comfortable talking to you or one of your mentors instead of like just a teacher at the school.
Exactly. And obviously they have the web resource as well as a follow-up. So
Okay.
it's
Wow.
good.
That's incredible work. That's very
It's
impressive.
fantastic work. I mean,
That's hard work too.
It's a lot of energy, but what's exciting, and we're really passionate about this, is although we're locked down and we're in quarantine, tomorrow we have our first schools workshops, but from our own homes.
Oh, wow.
So we've worked out a way that we can broadcast, all 4 of us, our team. I'm going to broadcast into our sound engineer, and he's going to broadcast us out live onto YouTube into a private link. So we've just been rehearsing this afternoon, and it translates really well to an online workshop, which then just means we could, see as many schools as possible without even leaving our homes.
Yes.
So
that's amazing.
If we're thinking about kind of quarantine and going forward, that saves us a lot of money in petrol, gas. It saves us money in terms of travel and sleeping over in hotels and all that kind of stuff, because we can literally just broadcast live into that school or into those young people's homes if they're not back in school yet. So we just feel like it's pretty revolutionary, and we're really excited for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You could broadcast to the entire world,
Exactly.
Yeah.
The world is our oyster.
That's great.
Yeah, going forward, we're hoping to secure lots more of those online sessions, because we could fit more in one day than we can when we're just in one school. The whole school could be broadcasted live for that 1 hour, and we could be broadcasting to 4 other schools that day going forward. So yeah.
Do you think you would ever expand to like older kids, like maybe like college kids?
Yeah, so actually tomorrow's session is a specialist creative arts school, and so they go from 11 to 25.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we can, we just sort of change the tone of the session a little bit depending on the audience. So with the younger ones, it's a bit more like, "Hey guys," and
Yeah.
with the older ones, it's a bit more like, "Chill, lay back, relax," So we just and also the stories that we share depend on the audience. So we wouldn't talk necessarily about suicide to the younger ones, but we could go there with the older ones because they might have experienced those kinds of feelings too. So yeah, it's interesting in just leading that. You just have to facilitate to the right audience.
Right. Wow. You're doing so much. It's really seriously like amazing what you're doing. Like it's very inspiring. And it's so great how you can just mix everything together, the music, the mental health, and help people through these mediums. I mean, it's yeah. And I'm like very inspired right now just hearing more about it.
That's so good. And I think, I was talking to someone earlier and just saying, the thing is, when I spent those 5 years working in a doctor's surgery as a counsellor, I really enjoyed that work. I absolutely loved it. But I knew there was something more, and I didn't know how it was all going to marry together. But I just want to encourage anyone that's watching, that has a goal, has a dream, and you're not quite sure. There's that crossroads where you just have to wait it out a little bit, and the learning comes there. So without my counselling hours, I did over 1,000 counselling hours, and you had to log every single hour. So I know I did over 1,000 counselling hours, but that has given me the stamp of approval, which means that schools go, of course, you can come in. But you don't really realise that at the time. So I just think it's so important that you wait it out, and you understand that everything works together. Like every experience that you have, every situation that you're in can be turned around to be something that is like pure joy to other people, or that could really help somebody else. Like I only started out on this counselling journey because I had a family trauma that happened in my life, and that led me to counselling, as in I needed help. So I went to get help from this counsellor. I found my help and found my healing. After about 6 weeks of sessions, I felt like I was better. And then I was like, oh, I really enjoyed that. I wonder if I could do that for other people. And that's then where I went to go retrain. So, that pain and that trauma that I went through has become this platform for what I do today. So I just think as well, nothing is wasted. Everything has a reason, and you can either use that reason in a positive way, or you can let it define you forever in a negative way. And so I just want to encourage people out there that actually, things are possible.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point because a lot of times when people go through a trauma, they think their life is over.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, it's very normal to feel that way. But you can take it and turn it into something powerful. And I think that's an important point to bring up because it's hard. Of course, it's hard to get through the trauma, but it is possible, and it is possible to turn it around and make it into something stronger. You channel it into something stronger, and you help others, which is what you did. And I think it's important that people know that your world isn't over. It might feel like it is, but it's not. So, just wanted to say that. I have 3 questions that I usually ask everybody that comes on at the end. So I just wanted to ask you, and if you don't want to answer anything, it's fine.
Okay.
But the first one is, what song is your anti-anxiety anthem, if you have one?
Oh. I don't have one.
Okay.
That's so boring, isn't it?
No, it's okay. It's totally fine.
I mean, I love, like, you know, those kind of big pop songs that make you feel like you can take on the world, but I couldn't necessarily name one. I'm really rubbish at that question, and I really just need to find an answer, because people say, who's your favourite artist, or what's your favourite song, and I'm like, I just love so many songs, and I love so many different artists that actually I'm a little bit rubbish at narrowing them down. Same with having a best friend. Yeah, I've never been able to say, this is my best friend. I'm just like, everybody's my best friend. So I'm a little bit generic there. I'm so sorry.
No, that's totally fine. Whenever people ask me like, oh, what bands do you like? I'm like, I don't know, because there's too many. There's too many.
Exactly. Who would be yours? Do you know?
It would be what?
What would be your anti-anxiety song?
I mean, it's tough, but I do really like this song by Solange called "Losing You." It's just kind of like an upbeat song. I mean, it's a sad song, but it's really upbeat, and I don't know, the beat just like makes me feel really happy. So I'd say that's kind of like my anthem.
I like it.
I also wanted to ask you, what are you most grateful for today?
Oh, I love that question. I'm grateful for this conversation. I absolutely love like meeting new people, so thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming.
I'm grateful for the dinner I've just eaten, because it's 6 p.m. here, 6:30 p.m. So I'm grateful for the food that I've just eaten. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my family, my children, my husband. I'm grateful for my team. I had a great rehearsal today. I'm grateful for the time I'm going to spend resting this evening. So yeah, I'm super grateful. Today's actually been a really good day in lockdown. You know, talking about up days and down days. Today's been a really good day. So
good.
I'm super full today. I can give out.
Good.
I can talk to a friend and listen to their bad day today.
Oh, that's good to hear. The last question is, what's your favorite thing in your room or in your house?
Okay. My favorite thing would be my shower, because it's a time where I get to think, and no one else can really bother me, because I can lock the door. Like, because I'm a mum and with 2 children, like the shower's just like, yes, I can shut the door and no one can bother me.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say my shower. That would be the best place.
Nice. Yeah, so I mean, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your story and for being so open. I really appreciate it. And if people want to go to your website, could you just remind them what it is?
Yeah, sure. It's thelilyjoproject.com. I'll type it into the comments for you.
Okay.
Because that's easy, because Lily can be spelled in a few different ways. So it's thelilyjoproject.com. And on there you can link to all my socials and stuff. But obviously you can find me here on Instagram and Spotify and everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm even on TikTok, even though I don't have very funny videos.
That's okay. You just have to be on it, you know?
I'm just there, you know.
Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, You can check out Lily Jo's new song called Be the Change on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to music, any streaming service, you can find it there. It's called Be the Change. It's also on my anti-anxiety playlist on Spotify. You can listen to it there. And I'm going to leave everybody with Be the Change by Lily Jo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. Bye.
Every time, stand up and face the future. Stand up and be the change. You don't have to be forever. Don't have to be afraid. If we can stand together, then we can make it right. If we can find the better moment every time.
Thank you guys for watching. Thanks guys for tuning in. We'll be back in about 2 weeks with another episode. So stay tuned.